I grew up in the comfortable familiarity of whiteness. I was aware of racial bigotry, but I didn't see my role in it. White supremacy seemed relegated to people in the southern states and felt mostly like past history. We didn't talk about the civil rights movement at home and not much more at school, so I knew little of the pain of racism. In looking back on the trajectory of my life, I'm seeing how my whiteness gave me advantages that most people of color would not have had. Doors opened for me in unearned ways, and those open doors paved the way for more openings. My first full-time job was as a bank teller at a totally white organization. 9 years there added enough to my resume to enable a move to another all-white organization and to the next. As my professional network grew, more doors opened, and with them, more wealth. A friend connected me with a financial planner. I received bonuses and stock options. I was able to buy a home. I traveled to foreign countries. All of these advantages came to me, even though I grew up in the economic and emotional poverty of an alcoholic home, had no inherited wealth and little parental encouragement, quit college after 2 years, struggled for a decade with an eating disorder and for decades with depression, didn't learn to drive until I was 23, and lived on one income. But I had one key advantage. I was white. When Plymouth Church began talking about our Churchmen in the New World embroidery, I started to see what I had not seen for so long, how certain images in artwork can perpetuate stereotypes, how the history I was taught was flawed and often fictional, and how centuries-long trauma doesn't have an expiration date. The comfort of my whiteness became less comfortable. As I work on becoming anti-racist, I'm afraid of what I'll do wrong. I'm afraid I'll delude myself into thinking that reading books, listening to podcasts, and joining predominantly white discussion groups will be enough. I'm afraid that my fear of conflict will keep me silent. I'm afraid that I will say something ignorant or insensitive in the presence of Plymouth's first Black minister. Nevertheless, my fears must not block me from opening the doors of advantage, which have opened so easily for me, to those who've been locked out for far too long.